Now, what does this mean to allow? It means when you have your doubts that creep up, because that is the nature of mind that you interact with, you go, oh, great doubt, such beautiful, beautiful doubt. Thank you again. I'm going to let myself back into awareness. And that's what it is. It's an action you take within to acknowledge what it is that your mind is doing, and then put your awareness back into receiving. Even if you don't feel it, even if you have no proof of it, because that's what your mind's going to say. How do you know any of this is real? Doesn't matter. You make the choice as a sovereign being, then you become that sovereign being. Maybe not in that instant because the doubt game is still so strong that you're playing, but it does happen.
Welcome to Becoming Awesome with Peter D. channeling Mira from the Pleiades.
Hey, you beautiful souls. It's kind of going to be special today. I'm rocking a seersucker jacket and channeling Mira from the Pleiades. So, before we get into it, let's help me out, please. Like and subscribe. It's important for YouTube to recognize this algorithm. Their algorithm won't recognize it without you doing those little things. So help me out and let's spread this message. Today, Mira is going to be talking about the shift that's happening the rest of this year. Here we go. Dear, 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 dear ones, beautiful souls, sweet, sweet divine entities that you are. Thank you so much for allowing this connection through this video, through this channel. We always wish to make this connection with you. This is the essence of what it is that binds us together in the field of oneness, in the field of creation, as beautiful fractals of the divine that you are and we are. Thank you. Thank you for this connection. Feel it, love it. We're going to be permeating that throughout this message. Now, you should be aware by now that many great things are happening this year, your calendar year of 2024. You know you had that wonderful eclipse. And unlike previous eclipses, which were also beautiful, two things were different in this one. One is the amount of energy that all the beautiful star brothers and sisters you have, all the consciousness that is Source itself has, amplified what was transmitted through the portal of your sun and your moon as a magnifying lens during this eclipse. So very, very, very nice. And it's going to continue to unfold in a big, strong way. The other thing that happened was more if you are aware of what is going on with these alignments of energy, so you allowed it in. And this is very critical for what we wish to talk about. And that is that it's not so much just attending to others and I'm listening to all these videos and I'm trying my best to understand all this stuff. That's still the mental game. It's very entertaining, but it's still the mental game. The physical game that Peter always preaches, this channel here always preaches, is you must clear. And this is important too. But the message we wish to give you in this talk is you can allow. You're being bathed with this energy. So welcome in. It's allowance. Now, what does this mean to allow? Because it's not a mental thing. Oh, allowing is turned on. Permission to allow. Well, that's kind of more into, but it's not what we are speaking of. It means when you have your doubts that creep up, because that is the nature of mind that you interact with, you have your doubts that creep up, you go, oh, great doubt, such beautiful, beautiful doubt. Thank you again. I'm going to let myself back into awareness. And that's what it is. It's an action you take within to acknowledge what it is that your mind is doing, and then put your awareness back into receiving. Even if you don't feel it, even if you have no proof of it, because that's what your mind's going to say. How do you know any of this is real? Doesn't matter. You make the choice as a sovereign being, then you become that sovereign being. Maybe not in that instant because the doubt game is still so strong that you're playing, but it does happen. So that is what we are here to tell you. So much energy is available to you in this moment. Can you allow it? Many of you beautifully do your daily practices. You meditate and you do your spiritual connections, your prayers. It's beautiful when we observe all this and we go in and out of those fields. It is quite lovely. We'd like you to up your game. Not by doing more. No, what you're doing is beautiful, but by doing a little twist on what you do. Include allowance. If nothing else, you can use what they call, the word that the channel has. It's not the word we use. The channel uses the word sadhana, Sanskrit for taking an action to represent your divinity. So your sadhana could be, I'm in meditation now, and you just start off with a little awareness. This meditation is an example of me allowing. While I am quiet or focused on whatever it is I focus on in my meditation, I am allowing. Or make that the focus of your meditation. Don't expect any answers or what it looks like or, I got this gift that's so 3D. But just make, I am in connection, I welcome, I allow. That's really what it is. You ask for, you give permission, and then you do your best to get out of the way and receive. Ask for permission the changes that you wish to take place within yourself, and do your best to get out of the way and receive. That is allowing. So we're going to ask you to take advantage of all the state we're in and allow as much as you possibly can to come through. And that will move you. Yes. Now, it's not going to move all of you, and it's not going to move you all right away. I mean, if it did, you'd be awakened by now, right? The planet would be ascended by now. You wouldn't be attending this video because you'd just be in happy land. And why would you feed yourself with how-to stuff when you could just be in happy land? So the point is, you're setting the framework within your consciousness to make this a reality. And the more you can hold it in your consciousness, the more then reality has to conform to that. Consciousness is king or queen, however you choose. And the more you hold it, the more the reality coalesces around that. So in whatever practices you're doing, we're asking you, include allowance. Next to allowance comes an appreciation for what you're allowing. And this we call awe. Now, it's like, I must be awesome, or I must be awful because I'm in awe of this. You can play those word games, and it doesn't matter. But when you're in that state where you connect to everything you can around you, that oneness field, as this channel calls it, you can then permission the allowing, put your consciousness there, and that will move you into the state of connectivity. When you have that state of connectivity, greet it with awe. That kind of cements it into you. It permissions your nervous system to say, this is how it feels. This is kind of nice. Don't try to describe it or box it. Just have awe for the state of being and connection you are in. So, there you go. Please allow. And when you have those moments where you're practicing allowance and you notice something's going on, even if it's not the outcome of the specific skill or ability or quality or relief you're trying to get, can you have awe for the connection, for the presence? The more you're in awe of that, the more you're going to attract it to you, because the emotion is a powerful attractor and it's a positive emotion. Allow. And hold awe. Then sit back and get out of the way and enjoy the grace. Grace. This is your true birthright. Grace. That will be another topic for another day. Now, you may be aware of the election that is taking place in the United States. And you may be aware by our estimates and some other estimates that about 15% of the United States population will undergo an awakening as a result of this election. And that awakening is going to not look like, I understand it all. No, it's going to be a notion that something's not right here. The lies are just going to be too blatant to understand. The heartbreak, for whatever side you're on, of knowing that it's been stolen and manipulated is going to be too real to avoid. And another additional to it already sees this, 15% of the population is going to understand that. So they're going to be less interested in this thing. Now, in the short term, it's not helpful to the system to have people opt out of it. The people who control it want you to opt out and feel like it's hopeless and helpless, so they can keep doing things, and you can feel powerless and they can stay in power. This is all going to change, however, when enough of you understand that the entire system does not have the energetics that lead to what we all desire. So it's going to start out with most of that 15% just being upset at the other side. Oh, they cheated. And there'll be lots of evidence of that because it's what they do. Another portion of that 15% is going to say, okay, this is a systemic thing, and it's not just these two parties, but this whole thing's built up, and then we're going to realize there's a layer above that. Okay? Now, both of these awarenesses are very important, and they change very little. They keep you in the system. Right? You must get out of the system to heal it. Yes. And that means understanding that it's not, oh, I'm a truther and I know what's going on and I'm exposing it and I'm making my choices correctly now. And you trade one set of masters for another set of masters that may be better, but still keep you playing the game. All these people in the know, some of them call it patriots, some of it called freedom fighters, some of it call it whatever you call it, social justice warriors. Depending on what side you're on, you got your name. That's all great, but it keeps you in the game, which is designed for you to lose. Part of this awakening is going to give you a chance to say, okay, if this external is going on outside me, what is going on inside me? That I am choosing to participate in attracting this on a mass scale in society. Yeah. And that's when you start going within. That's when you start doing all the work we're here to help you with. And so out of that 15%, a chunk, but that's not as much as we would hope, although we're excited that yes, you can make it more, will start on their spiritual path. And it's not that they get out of politics. There's nothing right or wrong with voting or not voting. No, it's that you understand that the change you seek is here, that these things you're seeing outside are reflections of what is inside. So if there's a divided, conflicted system that is corrupt and keeping you down, then you've got divided, conflicted being within you, and part of that keeps you down. So when you can stop playing that internal game by doing all the clearing work, of course, that this channel keeps wanting us to encourage you to do. And of course it will help you. But also the allowing work that we are talking about. Allowing the change to take place swiftly and easily. Now, so what do you do when you still see that there are things in the world outside of you that are not as you desire? And you have the awareness and consciousness that it's not a physical change. I don't need to go start, another group to save the ecology or another this group or that group to fight within this system. What do you do? And here we're going to talk about claiming your power. And when you claim your power, you can use it most incredibly. Rather than us tell you about this, we're going to give this channel back to Peter, and he will talk about experiences that he knows and opportunities that he sees, because it'll make more sense to you coming from the perspective of what people on your planet are already doing. Thank you so much for being with us. The love is just, it's breathless how much we feel when we connect with you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Mira. I got such a sweet spot in my heart for Mira because she was the first one who showed up amongst the galactics who really helped me with channeling skills. did a lot of work, clearing work to get there, but boy, thank you. And thank you once again for this message. So she wanted me to go on. We had actually worked this out in advance on who was going to cover what part. And it just made more sense for me to talk about it from my experience. So here we go. I want to tell you about some acts of power that we have and we can take. So I first discovered this when a friend of mine was part of a group that was moving a hurricane. I'm serious. So he was part of a group that understood there was some kind of attack going on, that one group on the planet was trying to wipe out another group with weather warfare, and it involved certain cities and military bases and things like that. And they were aware of this because they operate at that level of consciousness. And they didn't want it happening on their watch, so they decided to stop the weather warfare attack. Now, he is quite a scientist, my friend. And so he was showing me all the photos of what it looks like when you took down from an observation plane and you take a picture of a hurricane and you can see, the natural formation of the swirl versus very clear individual lines, ringlets. Like you throw a pebble in the water and you get these ringlets happening. He said that's an example of a man-made one. And this was a man-made hurricane that was using their weather warfare systems, HARP and all that, to do this. And so his group got together. They had a person on the ground who was driving ahead of the path of the hurricane and planting little stones that they had that were connected to different energetics and frequencies. And they were using those as focal points. And they would just track the hurricane and all get together and then use their consciousness, see it go in a different direction. So it was heading down towards Miami, and they blew it back out into the Gulf. So then the powers that be saw what was going on, turned its direction more towards the west, and tried to send it up the Gulf Coast of Florida. And so they again had their person on the ground drive to where it needed to be, put their stones in, and to amplify it, and then use their consciousness to move it again. So they kept pushing it further and further north up the coast while it was still at sea, so that when it finally did make landfall up around the Tampa area and stuff like that, it was way weak and just more like a tropical storm. Now this was boggling to me when I first heard this a decade ago. What? You can move hurricanes around using consciousness? What? We're not victims, that they have their weather warfare machines, and it doesn't matter, consciousness trumps that? Whoa. So this is kind of the power that we're headed towards. And it's already happening on the planet. Now, on a more personal, practical level, just the other day, some friends of mine were gathering. My wife, I wasn't there. I was busy working with clients. And they were talking about something that was going on in an area that was sacred to some land they were connected to in South America. And there was some strip mining going on. They were trying to get gold out of the mountain, this and that. You know the stuff, the ravage, pillage thing going on. And they were lamenting this was going on. And one of them says, well, we're powerful individual beings. We're keepers of divine power through different, rites and auspices, trainings as shamans, or what me and my wife do. It doesn't matter how you get there. You're a keeper of divine power. And said, well, let's do something. So they did. So they connected with the mountain, and they connected with the field. And in the field of connection with the mountain, they then started using their consciousness to assert what they would like. And again, it was not in opposition to anything, because if you're in opposition to something, guess what you create? You create opposition. So first of all, they just amplified the frequency of the mountain. It's already a high frequency place, but they intentionally amplified it, because when lower density beings and things are in a higher frequency place, it's harder for them. So they just raised that. Then they started connecting to all the population in the area. And they, on a very subtle level, started sharing their resolve, their understanding, and their power, particularly to have voice, and the voice of choice. Yes, I allow this in my city, in my planet, in my mountain, or no, I do not allow it. So they started amplifying the voice and the choice abilities of the people there. So when they're ready, they will make those choices. And with the higher frequency, they'll move towards that. then they got a little denser, and they started focusing on all the machinery that was collected and being used to do all these things. And they started working with the level of the density of the machinery and started putting into it the programming of, oh, don't you want more time to rest? Don't you want some new parts? Don't you want to have more service being done for you? Now, they weren't attacking or breaking anything, but they were working with these things to give them the idea of, what do I like? Yeah, maybe I do want to just sit there and have a few more days off. Or maybe I do want some new parts. So let me get rid of this part. And these are all things we can do here right now as people of power. Okay? So this is what I think Mira was talking about when she was talking about the awakening. It's going to be a lot of us awakening. Many of us are very beautifully awakened. What are we doing with it? Now, my personal dream, my wife and I, Tracy, we've started the Becoming Awesome community, and we do a group meditation every Tuesday evening, and it's a group consciousness meditation. So it's not just your normal meditation. We get together and we hold the frequency of what we desire, what we see happening for us and our planet, our community, right? So we're calling it into being by envisioning it. And it's wonderful what's happening. Beautiful miracles happening right and left. Everybody's being upgraded, up-leveled constantly. It's a marvelous thing. So if you can swing for the price of a Starbucks once a week, come on board. And don't think we're the only ones doing it, or don't think it's bad because we're charging, because what the hell? I got to pay for people to do all these videos and organize all this stuff. So, go form your own community. You got that power. Don't think we're the only ones. But my dream is we get to the point where we have 500 or 1,000 people of very nice levels of consciousness holding world peace in their vision. Yeah, that's when it's going to be big, big changes. Not a weather incident, not a mining incident, a whole planetary uplift. And this is around the pipe, just talking about, I cannot tell you how juiced and jingled and excited I am knowing this is our reality and this is happening for us. And I'm inviting you to participate in that, holding the vision of all of us together in these beautiful, beautiful reality of sovereignty, of connection to the divine, of being fully realized, embodied in 5D. Anyway, that's where I see us going, and I want to join you, exhort you to join whatever way you feel like doing it, on your own, in other groups, piecemeal with this or that. It's not about fighting it. Fighting it keeps you in the old energy. It's about creating the new, and that's available. Anyway, thank you, Mira, for your message. Thank you all for watching. Please give us a like and a subscribe. Keep the YouTube algorithm going. That'd be really nice to get more views and some more people can come so we can have those bigger meditations and change the planet, because it's not just out there where you're passive. Oh, I listen to all these channel messages and they tell me so much, I learn so much. It's like, start doing. The doing that Mira was talking about was allow. Have awe for what you allow, and then enjoy the grace of where you're at. That's what I'm asking you to do too. Stay blessed. Till next time.